My name is Dolores Hull. I'm 31 years old. And until last Tuesday, I thought my 2-year relationship with Ethan was solid. Then his best friend texted me, "Hey, it's Marcus, Ethan's best friend. We need to talk. He's been using you. He told us everything." I stared at the screen. Ethan had been living in my apartment for 6 months. We had dinner plans that weekend. He'd recently started talking about getting a cat together. Everything felt normal. I typed, "Tell me." A few seconds later, 5 voice recordings appeared. I pressed play. Ethan's voice filled the room. "Oh my God, guys, it's ridiculously easy." I mentioned something and she's already reaching for her wallet. "Dinner? Dolores pays. Groceries? Dolores pays. Told her I was stressed last week, and she bought me a $300 spa treatment." His friends laughed. The second recording was worse. "I'm saving basically everything. She covers rent, utilities, food. I've got like 14 grand saved already, should hit 20 by spring." A pause. Then I'm out. My stomach dropped. The third recording? "She's basically a puppy. You train her gradually. Started with coffee, lunches. Now she just pays automatically. I literally budget 0 for living expenses. I had to pause it. Then came the fourth. "My mom keeps asking when we're getting serious." I'm like, "Mom, this is serious. Seriously convenient." Laughter. "I'll ride this maybe another year, stack cash, then find someone who actually challenges me. Dolores is nice, but she's boring." Another laugh, but profitable. The fifth recording was Ethan discussing apartments. He'd already found a downtown studio. He'd calculated deposits, furniture, everything. She has no idea she's basically financing my breakup. When it ended, Marcus texted again. "I'm sorry. He's been bragging about this for weeks. I couldn't keep quiet anymore." I asked why he was telling me. "Because my girlfriend works with you, and we're trying to build something real." Ethan started giving me advice about getting her to pay for more. That's when I realized he wasn't joking. I opened my banking app. Rent, $1,85. Utilities, around $200. Internet, $89. Groceries, $600 to $800. Restaurants, another $500. Ethan's contribution, almost nothing. 6 months, roughly $18,000. Meanwhile, Ethan earned about $55,000 a year. I went into the bedroom and opened his laptop. The password was my birthday. Inside his files, I found a spreadsheet called Budget 2024. Income, roughly $3,000. $600 a month. Car, insurance, phone, shopping, going out. Then, housing, $0. Bills, $0. Food, $0. At the bottom, savings, $14,200. Goal, $22,000. And one final note. Spring 2025 exit. I took pictures and sent them to myself. Then I closed the laptop. I wasn't angry yet. Mostly, I felt stupid. I'd thought I was helping the man I loved. He thought he was lowering expenses before his next life began. Ethan came home around 9:30 that night, smelling like wine. "Hey, babe. Book club was great." He kissed my cheek. "What'd you read?" "This romance thing. Super emotional. Sounds nice." He started toward the bathroom. "Hey, Ethan." He turned. "Can you Venmo me $925? His smile vanished. "What?" "Your half of the rent." He laughed once. "We don't split rent." "I know. We're starting now." His expression hardened. "I can't afford that." "Okay, we'll split proportionally. Your share of rent, utilities, and groceries comes to about $1,150. "Dolores, I don't have that kind of money." I looked at him. "That's weird. Your spreadsheet says you're saving almost $2,800 every month. His entire face changed. You went through my laptop? Yep, that's insane. Your spring 2025 exit plan was interesting. He went silent. I can explain. I also heard the recordings. The color drained from his face. Ethan, I heard you call me a puppy. I heard you call me boring. And profitable. Those recordings were out of context. What context makes that better? It was just guy talk. Then his eyes filled with tears. Baby, please. You know I love you. For the first time, I wasn't sure I knew him at all. Here's what happens now. You contribute or you move out. You can't just kick me out. The lease is in my name. You were never added. This is crazy. You're throwing away 2 years over money? No. I kept my voice calm. I'm ending this because you were saving money to leave me while making me pay for everything. He stared at me. Friday, I said. Send your share or pack. He went into the living room and started calling someone. The next morning, he was gone. A note sat on the counter. We need to talk when you're done being crazy. This isn't you, I texted him. Venmo by Friday. Otherwise, there's nothing to discuss. 2 hours later. You're really throwing away 2 years over this? I replied. You were planning to throw away 2 years when your account hit $22,000. I'm just ending it early. He stopped responding. Then, Thursday afternoon, Ethan's mother called. Dolores, sweetheart. Ethan says you're having some kind of financial crisis and taking it out on him. I closed my eyes. So that was his next move. He wasn't trying to save our relationship. He was trying to rewrite the story before everyone heard the truth. Fortunately for me, I still had all 5 recordings. I didn't argue with Ethan's mother. I simply asked, Did he tell you why I'm asking him to pay? There was a pause. He said you've suddenly become obsessed with money. I'm not having a financial crisis, Diane. I'm done financing his exit plan. Silence. His what? I sent her all 5 recordings. Listen to these, then call me back. 15 minutes later, my phone rang. Her voice had completely changed. Dolores, I had no idea. He told you we split expenses, didn't he? Yes. Then she said something that made everything worse. I gave him $800 last month. He told me he was behind on bills. I almost laughed. Ethan had $14,200 sitting in savings while convincing both his girlfriend and his mother that he needed help. He's not behind on anything, I said. He's been saving almost his entire paycheck. Diane sounded embarrassed. I'm so sorry. It's not your fault. He has until tomorrow. If he doesn't pay, he's moving out. I understand. Friday came. No Venmo. At 6 that evening, Ethan arrived with Diane and his sister, Rachel, in an old minivan. Ethan tried to hug me at the door. I stepped back. You here to pay or pack? His expression tightened. I can give you half now and the rest in 2 weeks. No. Deadline passed. Dolores, seriously? You've got 2 hours. Rachel immediately stepped forward. Are you actually throwing your boyfriend out over rent? I'm throwing him out because he spent 6 months using me while secretly planning to leave. She rolled her eyes. That's not what Ethan told us. Of course it isn't. Diane quietly touched Rachel's arm. Let's just pack. They started carrying boxes from the bedroom. Ethan kept finding reasons to walk past me. We can fix this. No, I'll pay from now on. Too late. Finally, he stopped in front of me. Why are you being so cold? I looked at him. Why were you planning to dump me when your savings hit $22,000? Rachel froze beside a box. What? Ethan turned sharply. Dolores, don't. That was enough for me. I pulled out my phone and played the recording. Ethan's voice filled the apartment. She's basically a puppy. You train her gradually. Rachel slowly lowered the box. She stared at her brother. You actually said that? It was a joke. The recording continued. I literally budget 0 for living expenses. Rachel's anger disappeared. Jesus, Ethan. I was exaggerating. You called her a trained puppy. It was guy talk. Diane said nothing. She just kept packing. For the next hour, Ethan became increasingly desperate. He apologized, then blamed Marcus, then blamed alcohol, then said every couple complains about each other. None of it changed what I'd heard. When the last boxes were loaded, Ethan stood in my doorway with tears running down his face. I love you, Dolores. I shook my head. You love what I provided. That's not true. Then why were you planning an apartment without me? He had no answer. Where am I supposed to go? That almost made me smile. You've got $14,000 saved for your post-breakup apartment. His jaw tightened. Looks like your exit plan worked. Diane gave me a sad look before following him outside. Rachel wasn't nearly as gracious. She flipped me off through the minivan window. I closed the door. That night, I paid $180 to have the locks changed. It was the best money I'd spent in months. Monday morning, Ethan texted. I forgot my green jacket. Can I come by? It's with the building manager. Can we please talk? 5 minutes. No, he called. Blocked. Then he messaged me from Rachel's number. I blocked that too. Wednesday. Marcus checked in. How are you holding up? Better than I expected. Thanks again. Then he warned me. Ethan's telling people you went psycho and kicked him out because he wouldn't give you money. I wasn't surprised. If anyone asks you directly, tell them the truth. Don't start drama. Marcus replied. Fair enough. Apparently, people asked. A lot. By Friday, mutual friends were messaging me. One of Ethan's co-workers wrote, he asked me if I knew any cheap rooms for rent. Now, I understand why. Another friend had heard one of the recordings. The story Ethan was spreading began collapsing almost immediately. Then Rachel called from another number. You're trash. My brother is sleeping on Mom's couch because of you. He has $14,000. He needs that money for emergencies. I actually laughed. His emergency fund was specifically for leaving me. I just made the emergency happen sooner. You're going to regret this when he finds someone better. I hope he does. I paused. And I hope she makes him split the bills. I hung up. About a month later, I saw Ethan at Target. He looked different. Messy hair, sweatpants, tired eyes. Dolores? I nodded and kept walking. Wait. I stopped. Can we talk for 2 minutes? About what? I'm sorry. He looked genuinely miserable. I was selfish. I was stupid. Therapy's helping me understand that. Okay. His face fell. That's it? What do you want me to say? I miss you. I looked at him for a moment. Then the answer came easily. You miss free rent. His eyes filled. That's not fair. Neither was your spreadsheet. I walked toward self-checkout. He didn't follow me. When I reached my car, I sat behind the wheel expecting some delayed heartbreak. Nothing came. No anger. No sadness. Just relief. For the first time in 2 years, Ethan wasn't my responsibility. And what I didn't know yet was that while I was rebuilding my savings, his carefully planned $14,000 escape fund was already disappearing much faster than he'd expected. Because Ethan had finally gotten exactly what he'd planned for. A life without me paying for it. It's been about 4 months since Ethan moved out. He's still living with his mother. According to mutual friends, he's already burned through nearly $6,000 of his savings. Therapy, car repairs, new clothes, going out because he needed to process the breakup. Turns out $14,000 doesn't feel like much when somebody else stops paying for your life. Diane actually texted me last month. She apologized again and said she'd offered to help Ethan get an apartment, but only if he found a roommate and split the expenses. Apparently, he didn't like that condition. The irony wasn't lost on me. Marcus, the friend who sent me the recordings, got engaged to my coworker recently. They invited me over for dinner. At one point, Marcus shook his head and said, You know what finally made me send those recordings? What? Ethan started giving me advice. I frowned. About what? How to get my girlfriend to pay for more things. His fiancée rolled her eyes. He told Marcus I was too independent. Apparently that made me harder to control. Marcus looked embarrassed. That's when I realized the stuff Ethan said wasn't just stupid guy talk. He actually believed it. That stayed with me. Ethan hadn't made one selfish mistake. He had a system. Meanwhile, my own life got surprisingly better. I got promoted at work. The raise added roughly $8,000 a year to my salary. My grocery bill dropped almost in half. Utilities went down. I started having friends over again. I'd forgotten how much I loved hosting because Ethan always complained about the cleanup, so eventually I'd stopped. Now we have game nights every other weekend. One night, mostly out of curiosity, I calculated how much I'd saved since Ethan left. 4 months. About $8,400. Money that used to disappear into groceries, dinners, utilities, and Ethan's constant little emergencies. Seeing that number should have made me angry. Instead, it made me feel free. Then Ethan tried adding me on Instagram from a new account. I ignored it. He messaged anyway. I've been in therapy. I'm working on myself. I understand what I did was wrong. Can we at least be friends? I didn't respond. Marcus later told me Ethan was already dating someone from his company. They'd been together around 6 weeks. Apparently, Ethan was suddenly very careful about splitting expenses. He keeps saying he learned his lesson, Marcus told me. Maybe he did. Marcus shrugged. Or maybe he's scared of getting caught again. Either way, it wasn't my problem. What bothered me more was hearing that Ethan had started calling me financially abusive. Apparently, demanding rent from a grown man earning his own salary was controlling. I laughed when Marcus told me. Let him say it. Anyone who mattered had heard the recordings. They knew the difference between financial abuse and refusing to be someone's ATM. The strangest part was realizing the money wasn't what hurt most. I could earn money again. What stayed with me was his laughter. The way he called me a puppy. The way he described training me. The word times profitable. And that spreadsheet. Spring 2025 exit. He hadn't simply accepted my generosity. He had calculated it. Then bragged about it. One evening, while I was sitting on my couch, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. It's me. Please don't block me yet. I already knew. Another message appeared. I know I messed up badly. I still love you. Can we try again? I'll do anything. Months earlier, that message might have destroyed me. This time, I stared at it for maybe 5 seconds. Blocked. Deleted. Ethan wanted another chance. Fine. He could try again with someone else. I don't feel guilty for kicking him out. He had been playing a long game with my money and my feelings. I simply ended it before he reached the finish line. Dating is different for me now. I'm not suspicious of every man I meet, but I'm clearer about boundaries. I don't confuse generosity with responsibility anymore. And I don't believe love should require one person to quietly carry the other. The apartment feels different too. Quieter. Cheaper. More mine. There's still one ridiculous reminder of Ethan sitting on my couch. A throw pillow he forgot. I've considered donating it, but honestly, it's comfortable. And sometimes when I look at it, I remember the woman Ethan thought he'd trained. The woman who would keep paying until he decided she was no longer useful. He was wrong about her, because the moment she finally saw the game clearly, she stopped playing. Maybe I'll donate the pillow eventually. Maybe I'll keep it. Either way, Ethan doesn't get to decide what it means anymore. He planned his freedom for months. In the end, I was the one who found mine first. And for the first time in a long time, I'm not profitable. I'm not convenient. I'm not somebody's exit fund. I'm just Dolores. And I'm good. Actually good. Free.